Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 20 of season 3 of the F123 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here in Mexico City. Of course, 4 rounds to go now of the championship, and we have got some massive news as we come into this weekend. Sergio Perez has announced at his home Grand Prix that he is going to be retiring at the end of the year there. And with the championship looking the way it is, I think he's hoping he walks away from Formula 1 with a world championship under his belt there. 56 points the advantage to his teammate Max Verstappen. Red Bull, of course, has already wrapped up the constructors there, but Ferrari and Mercedes is the battle we're watching out for. 7 points between them as we head into the final few races of the campaign. But of course, we've got one more sprint weekend to go next time out in Brazil, but Mexico, Interlagos, Portimao and Vegas. It's actually a pretty good final 4 races to finish off the campaign. Of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out from the US Grand Prix. Quite a crazy and unpredictable race, but Mexico, so far in F123, I've never lost here, so that might change today. Well, unless my memories failed me, I'm pretty certain Sergio Perez has never won here in Mexico inside F123. I know he certainly hasn't won this race in real life, mainly because his dad, I'm sure, would still be celebrating it right to this very day. But yeah, heading out though into Q1, the Mexican has gone fastest early on in the session. I'm going to try and make it through on a set of the medium compound tyres. I see Zogran Yu just in front of me. I mean, that is some atrocious lines out of the first couple of corners there, as yeah, that Alfa Romeo has definitely blocked me. He's currently down in P18. But yeah, of course, the weird thing is at the moment, because there's now such a gap ahead of the bottom 4 teams, normally we can make it through to Q2 on a set of mediums quite easily. Mexico does, yeah, really demand actually quite a high level of downforce inside F123, but I'm learning actually most tracks on this game need more downforce than I've been using, hence why I think we have come a lot stronger towards the end of this campaign. P12 there after the first run, but honestly that might be good enough. And now we've got Q1 out of the way, we can really get into the nitty-gritty, and the rest of qualifying there is invalidating, actually, before we even start the lap. Luckily, it shouldn't affect the lap we're going on to. There we go. Yep, clock's still ticking. That's all right, then. Albon, currently fastest on a 15.3. So the question is, how close can we get to that? Qualifying has never been my strong suit here. It has all been about the races. Out of the final corner, up towards the start-finish line, though. It's going to be a 15.2. So immediately we are on the pace then here in qualifying in Mexico. The battle for pole is on. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty certain it is only our big 3 teams that haven't had any driver transfers so far in this series. So of course, Ferrari might end up being the only team that retain their lineup from the get-go right into Season 4 of this series. But yeah, with Perez and Hamilton, of course, both retiring at the end of the year, I'm sure we're going to see a huge shake-up ready for the next campaign. And of course, luckily, because we're finishing in Vegas rather than Abu Dhabi, we shouldn't have any issues with the driver transfers going into Abu Dhabi as well. But yeah, anyway, jumping in then to my first run here of Q3. Top runners, Hamilton, in fact, that's why I was talking about that, down into a 1:14 there, as we were lucky that that didn't invalidate. Clearly the game felt I lost time, so we will continue on. Well, effectively, we just lose a lot of time in Sector 1 and then basically spend the rest of the lap trying to gather it back up again. Purple through the middle sector, though, is always a promising sign as we round our way in towards the final couple of turns, making sure that I don't invalidate over that entry curb. Through the final corner up towards the line, only a 15.7, and that'll put us down in P9. While everyone else then desperate to improve here towards the end of qualifying, it is Albon who's gone fastest on a 1:14.9, so we need close to a second if we want to be trying to get this thing on pole position here, ready for the Mexican Grand Prix. Like I said, race pace has often been where my strength lies, but if we've got a chance to try and get a good lap in here, I'm absolutely going to attempt to take it there. Barreling down towards turn 1, 215 miles an hour. That seems rather fast. way through the final corner. I really thought we would have found a bit more time through the middle sector, but out of the final turn up towards the line, it is a big improvement there. We're down into the 115.1s. P6 in the end, that hurts. Well, there we are then. Alex Albon on the pole here in Mexico. Is that his first pole position of this series? I think it might be his second, isn't it? Yeah, Belgium, of course, took pole there. But Charles Leclerc lines up alongside him. Sergio Perez in P3 ahead of his teammate and championship rival Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz there ahead of all four Brits from 6th through 9th there, and Ocon rounding out our top 10. But yeah, look at the margins. 4/10 from pole down to 10th place. Let's get on with it though. It's Mexico Grand Prix time.
Bienvenidos to the most populous city in North America. The legendary Jim Clark won the first official F1 race back in 1963 here, and we've had a veritable who's who of winners ever since. It's Mexico City, and therefore the Mexico City Grand Prix. At 2,285 meters above sea level, the thin air of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez poses a unique challenge, just to a driver's skill, but to the efficiency of their engines as well. 17 corners then make a lap of this 2.6-mile circuit, expect incredible speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and overtaking into the braking zones of Turn 1 and Turn 4. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Alex Albon leads us away from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Verstappen, Sainz, Mr. Monaco, Hamilton, Russell, Norris, Ocon, Gasly, Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, Théo Pourchaire, Fittipaldi, Stroll, Bottas, Liam Lawson, De Vries, Tsunoda, Joe, and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching out for as they head into Turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into Turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well, here we are then, trackside for the Mexican Grand Prix. Alex Albon even on the pole position. I don't know why I was going to say Valtteri Bottas there, but each their own, I suppose. But in terms of strategy today, I reckon it could be worth a gamble on a two-stop. I've done this before around this venue. It has often worked out rather nicely for me. So 11 laps on each set of the soft compound tyres there and a 14-lap blast on the mediums. Of course, we know just how powerful the undercut is inside F123. And yeah, the pit lane here as well is not that long, so you don't lose much time either. So that's going to be my plan of action. Looks like we've got a lot of split strategies, though. Most of the cars in front of me on a set of mediums. But because I dragged through one extra set of softs from qualifying, I'm hoping that might give us the edge. Well, often this place has seen ridiculous starts inside F123. 5 red lights, though. And it's going to be a mighty long hole, but lights out and away we go. Well, not if you're Carlos Sainz there. We're actually going to get pretty good traction. Neither Ferrari getting off too well. Verstappen is going to have to try and pull to the outside of Charlie Boy. But look at how little straight line speed we've got immediately as we head down towards Turn 1. Lando Norris clearly got off to a fast start as well, as we're going to get swamped into the first corner there. Russell, a mega job to avoid me as we completely locked up the rear brakes there and almost went straight off on the left-hand side there, straight down to P9 then. Even pretty much, yeah, as bad a start as Carlos Sainz there, was already out of the top 10. Magnussen getting off to a bit of a blinder as well there, jumping all the way up into 7th place. But I think, yeah, Albon has held onto the lead at the front of the field. Sergio Perez now up to P2, so I'm sure the home crowd loving that and will be cheering him on this afternoon. Can't quite wrap up the world title mathematically here. He can be within 3 points of doing it, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, all the mental maths, I think it might be 5 points. All the mental maths that's got to go into calculating with sprint races and fastest laps and all this, that and the other makes things incredibly difficult. But Yeah, Sergio Perez would need to leave here with an 86 point lead, even. And of course, he's only got a 56 point lead at the moment, so even if he scored the full 26, it would only take him up to 72 there, which of course, yeah, would leave Verstappen still with an opportunity if he won the last 3 Grand Prix and took the win in the sprint race, of course. And yeah, Sergio Perez didn't score any points in any of them, but already then I can see the straight line speed is going to be a problem this afternoon. We're going to try and have a look back to the inside of Ocon on the apex. You can just see there the Frenchman, yeah, perhaps getting a little bit too overzealous, trying to spot his braking point down at turn 1, and we'll make it back through. We will hang on to P9. But this was definitely another track that I was very, very nervous about the track limits around. But this is why, you know I've said it in quite a few videos, and I do keep reading the comments from you all, obviously mentioning about the strict corner cutting. It has really helped so much in my league racing. You know, the fact that in WRR up to this point in the first 2 races, I've only had a single warning goes to show just how well this is working. Of course, the career mode is kind of used as the test bench for that. As Perez new fastest lap of the day, we pretty much match him though as we cross over the start-finish line. But yeah, DRS-wise, we just can't do anything. Also having to move around the brake bias quite a bit just to try and find a good rhythm. That means we're not locking the rears here as George Russell. I did think about having a look down the inside, but I suddenly thought I was talking about locking the rears and how bad would it look if I did that as I was talking about it. But we'll keep trying to hound him. So we make our way in through the middle sector there, and you can see just throwing George Russell's line off slightly. He's still going to be down the inside as we head into the S's there, but we'll swoop round him, gave him plenty of room, and that's going to be a place gain then. Back into 8th place we'll go early on this afternoon. Only lap 4. It's such a marathon of a race here in Mexico. 36 laps here really does take quite a long old time, but I enjoy it as that's going to be our first warning. Here comes Russell back to the inside though as we head towards turn 1. Oh, a little bit of contact there, as I didn't know whether he was going to fully commit to it or not. It's going to completely upset my rhythm through turn 2. And, Carlos Sainz even got to be sensing an opportunity here as well, as this time around we're going to have to go defensive on our fellow Brit. Down the inside. Oh, Georgie boy there really, really was trying to cover me off. But we'll get round him. We'll make sure we squeeze him again. The Sainz there trying to look around the outside, but we'll all stay where we were. Unfortunately, I'm losing a lot of time to Lando and Kevin. Lando, Norris and Kevin Magnussen now throwing away bags of time as they went side by side through the first couple of corners here, but we have finally closed in on the Aston Martin and the McLaren cars. We round our way in towards Sector 2, and this is a difficult thing at the moment. We can get such a run on the AI through here, but of course it's all but pointless as I think we did push Lando Norris there ever so slightly. Can we try and force him defensive in towards the next corner? Yes, we can, but unfortunately we lock up on the outside there. Such a balance between too much front brake and not enough of it at the moment. So really are trying to make sure that we get the car tidy, but rounding our way out the final corner though. Are we going to be able to try and get a run now on Lando? He's definitely lost the DRS to Kevin Magnussen, so fingers crossed this one should be a fairly textbook move. Zhou Guan Yu's out of another Grand Prix every single race at the moment. He seems to be falling to the wayside as we'll move past Lando. We'll try and force him back over towards the racing line. A little bit of front locking, but we managed to gather it all up nicely into the apex. And next up then is Kevin, as we will in fact get the DRS off. Oh no, obviously we still got it off Lando, didn't we? Oh, and George Russell, out of nowhere, going to fly back past me then as we head down in towards turn 1 once more. Don't really want to give this up without a fight, as the top 5 there have really been able to break free rather early. But yeah, I don't think I'm really going to stand much of a chance against George in this second straight, especially when he's still got the DRS. Does make me wonder why they don't have 2 DRS zones here, or 2 separate detection points. But I guess it stops cars just going forward and backwards past each other. And now I think we're going to see Russell try and get a move done on Kevin Magnussen as well here. So Russell suddenly now has remembered he's in a Mercedes that is still very, very competitive. As Sergio Perez and Alex Albon fighting for the lead of the Grand Prix. See the man that replaced Alex Albon down at Red Bull there. But are we going to see Russell complete the move on Kevin Magnussen? Yes, we are. And I wanted to try and switch Kevin off the exit, which we're going to be able to. George Russell is going to be a little bit slow as well there off the corner. We're going to force him defensive. Can we get 2 for the price of 1? Again, a lot of luck in there as Russell really wanted to run me deep into the corner. We have to wedge the car over the second curbing, but we're now up into P6 then of the GP. So finally back to where I started this afternoon, but a 5-second gap up to Hamilton in front. We've got to really dig deep and push. And I think, to be honest, we're about to see Russell fly back past me once again there. It's probably worth us just latching onto the back of the Mercedes at this stage of the day, because I think he's got a lot of pace in that car. But team want us to dive in at the end of this lap, but yeah, I'm really not sure whether this is going to be the way to go, just due to the nature of how good those medium tyres seem to be lasting. What are our tyres on? They're on 30-odd%. I reckon we might try and extend this stint to about the end of 15 and then go mediums to the end. Well, I tell you what, Hamilton now has actually closed back in on the group of cars in front of him, but George Russell is doing a very, very good job at starting to take some time out of them all as well. I think Albon and Perez are still trying to duke it out for the lead. So I'm sure Perez, normally probably be quite risk-off at this stage of a World Championship with the advantage he's got, but I'm sure he'd love just once to win his home Grand Prix there. I've just remembered as well, of course, I said early on I don't think Perez has won this track in F123. Of course he hasn't, I've won all of them so far, haven't I? But honestly, at this stage so far, I'm not convinced today is going to be our day, but I'm sure at half distance at Kota as well, I never expected us to be in a shape to win. Yeah, that battle at the front is really starting to take its toll, as we are going to try and box the end of this lap. 21 laps on a set of mediums doesn't seem too crazy, as can we try and get a run on George? No, not quite there. Down at turn 1, we might be able to try and get something out of turn 3 though. So that was a lot of curb, that was quite a risk to take when I don't think we got any more warnings. It's still quite an early stage of the afternoon, but Russell now spots us to the outside. We'll go of our rival. Can we try and get it stopped? It's going to be very, very close. Yes, we can. Round the outside we'll go. And you can see that gap to our front group under 4 seconds. So we are really starting to work together and close down that advantage. Right in the final corner, though, into the pit lane we will come. Looks like only Hamilton out of that front group has dived it in. I did suddenly get a little bit worried that we might see Albon try to peel into the pit lane there, but looks like we've done pretty much the standard laps then for a set of the medium compound tyre here. 21 laps on a set of, on a soft compound tyre. 21 laps on mediums seems a lot, but I don't think that's too crazy around what is a very, very short lap. But looking on the mini-map, we got one of the Williams flying past. They'll probably just get the jump on me as we head down the start-finish straight. It's going to be close, actually, with Fittipaldi. He's going to get by, but hopefully we can try and get back past him up in towards turn 4. Otherwise, I'm going to lose a lot of time stuck behind him here, as Hamilton and I, I'm sure, both now eyeing up an undercut on my teammate and the Red Bulls, as surely this is going to be a nice, simple move on Fittipaldi. Not quite yet. That Williams, we know how quick that thing is. And the inside, though, just try and make sure I straight line brake as best as possible to avoid front locking. We'll make it through, and now we are a man on a mission once more. Gasly into the pits, as well as Oscar Piastri then, so a couple of freebies. Promoted us back inside the top 10 once more. More cars in. Magnussen this time round as we set a new fastest lap of the day. So clearly Hamilton and I are very much pushing on at the moment. We're taking well over a second a lap out of our front few. There we go, Albon into the pit lane now at the end of lap 18. So he's doing a half and half strategy then this afternoon, as Russell into the pits as well. I think basically everyone, bar one of the Ferraris and one of the Red Bulls, is going to have made it in as we went purple again through the middle sector. But you can see all of those drivers as well. Obviously, you're going to have to use a set of hards. Hamilton to the lead now of the Grand Prix. And you know what? We've gone and undercut them all as well. So Hamilton and I now a couple of seconds clear, actually, the rest of the field. But we know they're going to be strong towards the end of the afternoon. Could we be about to watch Lewis Hamilton's last ever Formula 1 Grand Prix victory? There we go, Perez and Carlos Sainz into the pit lane. But we're still taking a fair chunk of time out of Lewis each and every lap. This is a bit of a gamble at the moment because, of course, if we get to him and we run out of battery, it might be very difficult to make a move work. And if we don't get to him, then we could be absolutely left to try and defend from the cars behind. But I didn't think even just a few laps ago we would have any chance of being able to try and defend my Mexico crown. But now it is possible. These mediums are working so much better than our soft compound tyres were. Oh no, Hamilton! The second time in 3 races our leader is going to go up in smoke then. Hamilton looks to be peeling off to the infield there as we head down in towards turn 1. And surely not. Hamilton is out. of the Mexican Grand Prix. And literally just as I was talking about how we were reeling him in, the Mercedes engine has gone kaput there. And now with 15 laps to go with this Grand Prix, not only now does it look like we had a chance at the win, it looks like we are in the best chance to win this Mexican Grand Prix. I haven't had much luck on F123, but I tell you what, when I do get luck, it always seems to be at Mexico. We've got to just try and get this thing to the end now. We've got 4 seconds in the pocket to Alex Albon behind. We don't need to take any risk at the moment. I tell you what, at the moment, all we're trying to do is just hold that gap to Albon between 3.5 and 4 seconds for as long as I dare. But surely towards the end of this race, our tyres are going to hit the cliff. I'm also thinking, of course, Perez is not having a great day of it now. Verstappen is up in P3 there, the Mexican down in P5, so he wouldn't lose out a huge amount to his teammate. But surely, if you're Sergio Perez, you just want to wrap it up with a couple of races to go so you can enjoy your final couple of Formula 1 Grand Prix. But if Verstappen comes back and steals this championship from Sergio Perez, then I will absolutely believe there is a retirement curse, because I'm pretty certain any time a driver inside F1, you know, in the last few games has announced their retirement, if they've been in the title fight, pretty certain every single one they've gone and lost it. I don't think I've ever had a driver do a Nico Rosberg in any of these series and retire as reigning world champion. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. We've still got 3 races to go after this one. So next time out will be down in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, obviously Brazil, then Portugal. Really looking forward to returning to Portimao. I think that track is going to suit this handling model. And then obviously the finale in Vegas. But 12 laps to go here, and we've actually opened up the gap by a few tenths to our teammate this time round. Could we be on for the very first Audi 212 1-2? Let's wait and see. Well, starting lap 30 then, and that's the first lap. The gap's come down by more than a couple of tenths. Albon is still pushing here, but our tyres are very, very much falling off. We're just trying to hang on at the front of the field, but I'm also very conscious as well. I've already got about 20 laps without picking up a warning. I do not want to pick up a penalty right towards the end of this race, because I can't help but feel there's going to be less than 3 seconds between Albon and I at the flag. Oh, I think Albon and Leclerc have started duking it out, because suddenly that gap's gone up by about 1.5 seconds in the space of just a few corners there. So the gap now 5 seconds with just 4 laps to go here in Mexico. Leclerc, though, I want Albon to finish P2, of course, don't I? I'd love for the team to try and get our first ever 1-2, but could we be on for back-to-back wins? No! Wait, can I get ahead of the safety car? No! Can I? Oh! Okay, right. For those of you that don't know F123 particularly well, that is incredibly interesting. So, from what I know, a safety car cannot be out inside the final 2 laps of a Grand Prix, aka lap 35 and lap 36. However, we're ahead of the safety car, so it's going to have to wait for me. Otherwise, of course, it's going to be, well, it's going to be lap 35, isn't it, anyway? I don't know what's about to happen here, but I really hope we're not about to break the game, and I'm also incredibly happy that I haven't got a 3-second penalty, otherwise that would be us completely screwed. I'm not even sure why we've got a safety car out. We've had no one else retire from the race, at least as far as I can see. We're down to 19 runners. Hamilton, Joe, someone else must have gone then, but I didn't quite catch who. But yeah, this is very, very weird, and is going to leave us under a lot of pressure.
Approaching the safety car, you're leading, so don't pass it. Stay behind the safety car.
Well, I don't know how I've got past Sargent there, but that's going to make my life a little bit easier. Clearly the game thought I wanted to try and get round him, because obviously we were closing up to the safety car, but now I've given myself a rear gunner here. We'll have Sargent between us. Remember, it was Leclerc and I that fought for the win last year here. Is it going to be the same story today? Well, I'm really just trying to stay as close to that safety car as I possibly can, because the less cars that close up to this train, the better for myself. But round in the final couple of corners then, this has been one of the weirdest ends to an F1 race I've had inside F123. Careful that the game doesn't spin me out at the final corner when it allows me to go full throttle again. And there we go, green flag racing once more. Logan Sargent is going to be told to move out of the way, I'm sure, as we head back down towards turn 1. But Charles Leclerc, you can see he's already gaining on me at a rapid rate of knots. Perez, sorry, Verstappen even that was, trying to claim some DRS or some slipstream even off of Logan Sargent as well there. But will we be able to hang on the final lap of the Mexican Grand Prix? This feels like Abu Dhabi 21. Seems like the game just doesn't want me to win at the moment, but will Albon now be able to try and get a run on Charles Leclerc? He's going to have a look to the outside as we head up in towards turn 4 there, and Charles Leclerc trying to do it, but Albon, will he get to the inside? No, he won't. We've just got to make sure we keep it between the white lines here on this final lap. I don't want to risk anything. Tyres definitely are starting to go off as well late on in the day, but Mexico once again seems to be my sanctuary inside F123. I got no idea why. We seem to be so lucky around this venue, but I'm not going to knock it. It's going to be our 3rd win of the campaign and our 2nd in a row, and I tell you what, this is the kind of momentum we need behind us going into Season 4. That was almost very, very wide there, as Charles Leclerc has not given up on this just yet, but making our way through the final couple of corners. We are going to win the Mexico Grand Prix once again here. 3 years in a row. Get in there, back-to-back dubs.
So sore. Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
It's a performance to be proud of from our Mexico City Grand Prix winners today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Well, what a thrilling end to an incredible Grand Prix weekend. Our top 3 finishers should be incredibly happy with what they were able to achieve out there today. So let's review the updated driver standings. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco.
And it's another title in the bag for Red Bull after a long and hard-fought season. They've built an astonishing car this year, and the glory they'll be taking back to Milton Keynes is fully deserved. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Mexico City Grand Prix, and it is going to be yet another dub for ourselves there. That one a bit less dramatic than the one just 2 weeks ago back at COTA. But it is Charles Leclerc and Alex Albon that have joined me on the podium there. Red Bull in 4th and 5th ahead of Russell, Sainz, Ocon, Magnussen and Pierre Gasly there, rounding out our top 10. Who was our 3rd failure? It was Lando Norris there, so completely did miss that one at the end of the day. They're down in P20 ahead of Hamilton and Zhou Guanyu, who also both failed to make it to the checkered flag. But that means championship-wise, Perez, a 54-point lead with 3 races to go. He can wrap it up next weekend out in Brazil, and I'm sure the Mexican will be wanting to do so there. 4 points now behind Carlos Sainz as we head into the final few Grand Prix. I'd love to walk away with a P5 come the end of the championship there. And I mean, Albon now just 9 points back behind Hamilton, and Oscar Piastri a further 6 behind him. There's quite a big battle going on for 7th place as well when all is said and done. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, But we are closing in on Mercedes at a rapid rate of knots in towards the final few Grand Prix. We need to be strong. We need to stay consistent as we head into the final 3 GPs of the season. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back tomorrow when Formula 1 returns. Our final sprint race weekend of the year. We'll be back ready in Brazil. A massive thank you to my Patreon supporters that you can see currently on your screens. If you want to join them from as little as £1 a month, it would be massively appreciated and you help support my work. You also get access to weekly updates from myself with everything going on behind the scenes with the channel. But yeah, a massive thank you to the names you see on your screen, and we'll be back very soon with a brand new video.